This is the stats assignment number 2. And the question is, if the mean number of years between asbestos exposure and death is found to be 25 years with a standard deviation of 7 years in a particular county, what is the probability that the mean number of years between asbestos exposure and death will be between 22 and 28 years in a sample of 50 people taken from that community? Step 1 would be to find the standard error of the mean. And you do that by finding your variables, which are the standard deviation as well as the sample size. The sample size in this equation is 50 people, and the standard deviation is 7 years. So you will take 7 years and divide it by the square root of the sample size, which is 50, and you get 0.99.
So for step 2 of this problem, we're going to find the C-score. So to be able to do that, we're going to use the standard error of the mean, as we found in our previous part of this problem, part 1 or step 1. And we're going to apply that and put that in this part of the equation for the standard deviation. This equation is to find Z, where X is the value that we're trying to find or that we're using. And mu is the population mean. So for the lower end of this, we're going to do 22 minus 25 over 0.99, which becomes negative 3.03. And then for the upper tail of this, this range, it's 28 minus 25 over 0.99, which is 3.03. So that's the end of step 2.
All right, so use z-scores to find probability of observed z-scores for a range of 22 to 28 years. So we see that P, probability of X on 22 equals probability Z under negative 3.03 equals 0.0012. And over here, probability of X under 28 equals probability of Z under 3.3 equals 0.9988.
And lastly, you would subtract both z-scores from each other to find the probability that the mean lies between 22 and 28 years, which comes out to be 99.76%. So in conclusion, in a normally distributed population, there is a 99.76 probability that the mean number of years between exposure to asbestosis and death falls between 22 and 28 years.